no different than any other Saturday. But
Good evening, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order and welcome everyone to the April 10th, 2024 City of Henderson Board of Zoning Adjustment hearing. Sarah, may I get a roll call, please? Oh, I got it jumped in there too quick, didn't I?
Matt Garno,
Here.
Heather Knight,
Here.
Rob Turney,
Here?
Landon Overfield,
here,
Marcos Nicholas.
Here.
Thank you, Sarah. Mr. Davis, do you promise to tell the truth this evening?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Davis, our first appeal, Appeal 3511, will you bring that to our attention, please?
Sure. Proposed Appeal 3511 is submitted by Curtis A. Gaines for the property located at 1747 North Green Street. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to allow the installation of a manufactured home in an R3 district pursuant to Article 8, Section 13, Section 1303E, Appendix A, Zoning Code, City of Henderson, Kentucky. This property is zoned R3. All adjoining property owners have been notified, and we have not received any calls concerning this appeal. A little history on the property. There was a manufactured home installed on the lot, probably in the late 60s and early 70s. It was approximately 59 by 12. It was removed with the intention to replace it with something more modern. The original home was placed such a long time ago that we do not have a record of a conditional use on file. The property owner can replace the home within 1 year, according to our ordinance, as long as it doesn't increase its nonconformity. In other words, what is installed has to be the same size as what was taken away. The property owner would like to install a sectional manufactured home which will look more like the homes surrounding the property, because the problem is no one builds the same size as what they took away. Yeah. So they're really limited. A conditional use is required to place a manufactured home in an R3 zone. Because the home does not meet the original dimensions, it will need this conditional use. The applicant, in filling out their conditional use permit worksheet, states that the requested conditional use is justified because it is an essential use, in that this building lot was an R3 back in the 1900 era, or there would not have been a mobile home on the location. The conditional use would promote the public health, safety, or welfare by obtaining a residence on the land at 1747 North Green Street that is now sitting empty. There's not a 12-foot wide structure of the same size being built today. Conditions that would eliminate or minimize adverse effects of the proposed use in the zoning district are: a sectional home will be more suitable for the location than the same size of the original home. B, the lot is better situated with a sectional than a single wide home. Actually, it's going to look a lot more like the neighboring homes as well. C, the manufactured home will meet all acceptable installation standards. D, the manufactured home will meet all acceptable appearance standards. And E, all watershed will be contained on the lot. The staff has reviewed the request and recommend approval. We forward the appeal to the board for your consideration and any further conditions that you may deem appropriate.
Does this board have any questions for Mr. Davis? Any questions for Mr. Davis? If there are no questions for Mr. Davis, I'll ask the applicant or applicant's representative to approach the podium, please. Please sign in with your name and address. Please state your name.
Curtis A. Gaines.
Mr. Gaines and
Susan Gaines.
Mrs. Gaines. Have you both signed in?
Yes.
Do you both promise to tell the truth?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Who's going to be speaking?
She will.
Mrs. Gaines, what would you like to add to the what Mr. Davis stated?
I think that's perfect.
Okay.
well said.
Does this board have any questions for Mrs. Gaines?
Is this gonna be a rental property, or y'all gonna reside there, or?
It is gonna be a rental property
Okay,
until he gets a loan for the land.
okay.
Any other questions for Mr. and Mrs. Gaines? Any other questions? If there are no other questions, you may be seated. Sarah, do we have anybody on Zoom, or are we on Zoom tonight? Okay. Is there anybody here that would like to speak for or against Appeal 3511? Is there anybody here to speak for or against Appeal 3511? If there is nobody here to speak for or against Appeal 3511, I will close the open forum and ask for a motion.
I'd make a motion. I move that we grant Appeal 3511 for conditional use permit to place a manufactured home in an R3 zone for the property located at 1747 North Green Street with following conditions. All watersheds shall be contained on the property. All building codes shall be followed. Conditional use permit is for the current property owner,
No.
or should I put it for the property?
It should be, I think, for the property.
Dawn?
That's up to you.
Okay, I'll mark it for the property. And that the evidence presented showed that the granting of the requested conditional use permit is justified because it is an essential use in that a single wide would be removed and replaced with a double wide. And that the evidence presented showed that the granting of the conditional use would promote the public health, safety, or welfare by improving the home and the neighborhood and provide a housing option for a citizen.
Second.
Is there any discussion among this board on the motion? Any discussion among this board? If there is no discussion, I will ask for a vote, please.
Mac,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Landon,
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Gaines, Appeal 3511 has been granted in your favor. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great evening. Mr. Davis, our next appeal, 3512, can you bring that to our attention?
Certainly. Proposed Appeal 3512 is submitted by Everett and Mary Strother Leeser for the property located at 1850 Second Street. Applicant is requesting a 20-foot front yard setback variance for the remodel of the current gas station pursuant to Article 27, Schedule of Regulations, Schedule A, Appendix A, Zoning Code, City of Henderson, Kentucky. This property is zoned highway commercial. Notices were sent to surrounding neighbors. We have received a call concerning this appeal. It was the middle school across the street. They just wanted to know what it was about. The variance worksheet states that there are special circumstances for this particular lot that make it different from other lots in the same zone. The shape and shallowness of the lot makes it impossible to meet the required setbacks and still maintain a reasonable building area. Other special circumstances are the site's geometry creates constraints that make it difficult to effectively utilize the property while satisfying the required setbacks. Recent highway improvements have decreased the area available for development, further constraining the site. Strict application of the provisions of the zoning ordinances impose an unnecessary hardship on the applicant or deprive the applicant of reasonable use of the land. The lot was platted and built on prior to the adoption of the zoning ordinance. The existing structure does not meet the current setbacks, and the proposed addition is a reasonable and expected use of the property. Recent highway improvement projects have decreased the area available for construction. In addition, the site's configuration creates geometric constraints, making it difficult to satisfy the required setbacks. Special circumstances they state in their worksheet are: 1, the granting of the variance will not affect public health, safety, or welfare, in that the site is entirely encompassed within the rights of way of surrounding public highways. There are no residential or other commercial sites. 2, the granting of the variance will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity, in that the site was historically and is currently the location of a service station. The proposed development will be a continuation of the current land use. 3, the granting of the variance will not cause a hazard or nuisance to the public, in that no residential or other commercial sites are located immediately adjacent to this site, and there will be no potential encroachments onto areas that might be detrimental to their use and enjoyment of adjoining properties. All proposed construction will meet or exceed applicable code and safety standards. The site is entirely encompassed within the rights of way of the surrounding public highways and is therefore isolated from nearby developments and properties. 4, the granting of the variance will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the zoning ordinance, in that no residential or other commercial sites are located immediately adjacent to the site, there will be no potential encroachments onto areas that might be detrimental to the use and enjoyment of adjoining properties. The requested variance will not adversely impact the health and safety of the public or be inconsistent with the present and past use of the subject property. Staff has reviewed the request. Submit the request to the board's consideration and action.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis, what we're looking at is just kind of reconfiguring the existing gas station, is that right?
That's correct. What makes this lot particularly unique is that almost the entire lot is a front yard.
Mm-hmm.
By the means of the road going all the way around the lot. There's a second half that I think will be used for future development, but at this time, we're getting a variance for the front portion. You can see the line in the middle is black, that portion toward the top.
Mm-hmm. But more or less, we're reconfiguring the gas
current
station
Palmer's, yeah.
to meet, well, first of all, to get it in compliance, and secondly, to meet the changing road structures, so they have the correct flow in and out.
What they're gonna do is they're gonna extend the awning there, and there's an extremely large right-of-way. And there is gonna be, if there's not gonna be a lot of encumbrances here in the right-of-way, because there's nothing that can be built around it.
Okay.
It's all highway. And they're extending their canopy, trying to make the use of the land that's available, and asking for a variance to build out on the land that's available there.
Okay. The reason I ask is because what was sent, what I have is pretty dark, and it's very hard to see
okay.
what the construction on this piece of property is.
Yeah, let's see if I have something more clear.
Does this board have any additional questions for Mr. Davis? Any additional questions for Mr. Davis? If there are no additional questions for Mr. Davis, I will ask the applicant or the applicant's representative to approach the podium. Yeah, I've got that, but it's
Yeah.
very hard to understand what we're looking
So
at.
the blue is
Yeah.
gonna become the new. That's the problem.
Please state your name.
David Lamb.
Mr. Lamb, you are not the applicant, so you're the applicant's representative.
I'm the
Can-
applicant's representative.
Pardon me?
Yes, I'm the applicant's representative.
Okay, can you state how you are representing the applicant?
I'm here to represent the applicant in the request because I'm the engineer for the site, and therefore we're here on the applicant's behalf.
Okay. And Mr. Lamb, I'm Rob Turney. We go back long ways, and I appreciate the work you've done for me, but, for our council, my decisions in this will have no bearing on my relationship of past business with Mr. Lamb.
You won't vote.
Pardon me? Well, I don't vote either.
We're all here, so you don't get to vote, so.
Mr. Lamb, what would you like to add to Mr. Davis's testimony?
Well, I just want maybe just some clarity based on some of your questions. I mean, this is a redevelopment of a lot, but it's a little more than adding a canopy. What it is with the new highway right-of-way, the configuration of a very quirky, non-conforming lot got worse.
Yeah.
And enable for the mark to be redeveloped so that there can be a more appropriately and functional convenience store and gas pumps put there. This variance is instrumental. It isn't a unique area because it's an island. I mean, literally, you can only take a right turn in or a right turn out from the front of the building after construction is done. And so everything else has to come around back as you work with traffic flow. Complying with the current front yard setback all the way around, essentially with the additional right-of-way that is taken, would render the lot unusable. And it feels like that with this variance, you're able to still make a productive business in an area that is really not suitable for anything else. And I noticed you're having trouble seeing, I have a full-size map of that, if that would be helpful.
If you present your full-size map, you have to leave it with us.
No
And I'm
problem.
gonna, before you provide it to us, does this board need to see that full-size map?
I mean, I
I'd
think,
be interested in seeing kind of how they're going to reconfigure it.
I mean, my
Okay.
question, he can probably answer without the map, but I'm just curious. really.
Well, please.
So, I guess my question is, of course, they're gonna put in the roundabout. Are y'all gonna keep the entrance and the exit on Second Street? And how is that gonna
Here's-
work into the
Here's
roundabout?
here's the, this is the Second Street of the Highway 351. They can only turn right coming into the lot now. They can't cross over like
Right.
they previously.
And they can only go right out.
they
It's
can-
right in, right out. You
Yeah.
can just, if you're headed east, you can fall in, and if you're going east and you want to go west, you got to go down, go around the roundabouts and
All
go
the way.
back the other way.
Right, yeah, I'm hoping that they'll, when they put in this roundabout, they'll make this one and they'll make that one, because right
Well,
now, you know.
we can't-
But no, but the traffic flow from here and here is the only thing that kind of concerns me.
Okay, and then, well, I mean, that's right in,
Right.
right out. In with traffic, out with traffic. And then the backside is very similar, but on the backside, you can cross either way.
Yeah,
And I will say, on the 351 access point, we have already obtained approval from the Kentucky Department of Transportation that that fits with how they think 351 will operate.
Mr.
yeah.
Mr. Lamb, I believe that our board would like to see those your drawings. And as I said, if you bring them up here, they have to be left.
Not a problem.
I mean, it'll probably be a year
The
before I go
existing
near that
structure
roundabout.
there now.
So that everybody in Henderson
Is
can
that-
get used to driving
how is
around
it
it before I
gonna
get near it.
Well, the thing is, like, if you're
It's
coming
gonna
from the
go-
highway,
it's
you
gonna
have to
go
go
way-
around the
Okay.
Yeah, roundabout.
and
It's
Get
get
going to
back
be a
in,
new
yeah.
structure.
get back here.
Is that
and
being
the
placed
exit.
further back?
Literally,
You and I are, I
only
think, are the
exit
two
is
that
the
wanted to see it.
second.
Yeah.
Hold it.
Why don't we, yeah,
Yeah.
Well, if you talk, you have to be,
Yeah.
By the microphone.
And
is this mic on?
Sounded like it.
Okay, good, we've got color
You can go
here.
look at it.
And this shows
well,
you
the question is,
Where it is now.
pumps are gonna build?
where things are now and then where the
How many
new
left?
things
What's
are
gonna be the
intended.
capacity of it?
We don't know.
Uh-uh.
They're just asking for a bit.
How many pumps they're gonna put in, is that what you're wanting to know?
Yeah,
Well, that's,
that's somebody else
Building
problem.
Okay.
and the proposed new canopy. Here's the existing structure.
So
Okay, so that's
basically,
the
They're actually gonna have
existing
parking
main
spaces
building,
this
right?
time?
Correct.
Okay, all right, so,
so essentially, you're gonna
The
mirror
thing that I
image
see is
the whole
it's gonna be
property.
a highway, so it's gonna be turned into a big.
Kind of.
Well, what we're doing is putting a building that can handle, better serve the volume of customers. There'll be some parking in the rear, parking in the front, and a larger canopy. Now, full disclosure, when these properties can be consolidated, we'll also utilize this piece of property. That's why there's parking in the rear.
okay. So you got something indicated here, is that going to be,
Future. That's
It's
not on
future.
this piece of property
Okay, all right.
because we
right,
couldn't.
because it's not in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Lamb, when you get a second, you got a question?
No, I got
Okay,
it.
did you get an answer? Okay.
And then the new canopy, this will be the new canopy then?
That's correct.
Okay, and then these, is that?
It all
the-
goes away.
That all goes away, okay.
Everything will be fresh and new.
Okay, so the new structure basically will be about twice the size of the existing.
And no one will know how to park at Palmer's.
Well, there'll actually be parking spaces. You don't just.
That's
get
what I
out
said,
of the lot
nobody will
somewhere.
know, everybody be like, Palmer's has parking
Yeah, it's
spots.
gonna be,
If they can make it through the roundabout.
I'm not going near that roundabout for a year until everybody learns how to drive around it.
You know,
I'll
they
go the
have
back way.
tornadoes.
I know,
Okay.
the original
they
now,
have about
had-
20 parking spaces.
I used to drive around those a lot when I was out
2084, you
up
had
Running
north,
back.
but I-
Basically.
here, people aren't used to them. I don't want my mom nowhere
Actually,
near
three
that thing. She would probably kill somebody.
ingress and egress
I said, Mom,
spots.
stay away from the
Are they going to
restaurant.
be consolidated in just one?
Two. One on the back,
Well, I
one
know,
on the
I know
front.
this one up here, but one in the rear is what I'm
Well,
referring to.
She's
This
asked me
is
7
on
times how
this
to drive
lot.
around
Okay.
one.
This is a separate lot.
Right.
It's
Don't
not
go near
gonna be
it.
changed.
Right.
That'll, but
Okay.
ultimately,
Go the back way.
it's
We,
to
we've
let
got
people come.
two
And you may know the
conversations
traffic?
going, so when they
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, we're not trying to hide the ball, we want to show you.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, the further we get away from the intersection, the safer it is anyway.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, okay.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Lamb.
No, it's gonna-
Was there another
To get in
question?
I think you got it answered.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Highway, go around.
Does this board have any additional questions for Mr. Lamb? Any additional questions for Mr. Lamb? If there are no additional questions, Mr. Lamb, you may be seated. Is there anybody here to speak for or against Appeal 3512? Is there anybody here to speak for or against Appeal 3512? If there is nobody here to speak for or against Appeal 3512, I will close the open forum and I will ask for a motion.
No, I'm just thinking, you already got it written down.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Y'all going?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I move we grant appeal number 3512 for a variance relating to the property located at 1850 2nd Street, Henderson, Kentucky. Applicant requests a 20-foot front yard setback variance. The variance is needed in order to remodel an existing gas station on the lot, which is zoned highway commercial. The appeal is granted with the following conditions. The proposed improvements will not divert water runoff onto the neighboring property, nor will it alter the natural flow of water. 2, the improvements to be added to the property will comply with the Henderson City building codes. The evidence submitted through the written documents and attached to the appeal and submitted through testimony presented during the preceding hearing confirms and we find, 1, the shape and shallowness of the lot makes it impossible to remodel and still meet the required setbacks and still maintain a reasonable building area. The site's geometry creates constraints that make it difficult to effectually utilize the property while satisfying the required setbacks, and recent highway improvements have decreased the area available for development, further constraining the site. The proposed remodeling will be a continuation of the current land use. Further, the aforementioned evidence presented showed that the granting of this appeal will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, as the proposed remodeling and continued use which make the variance necessary are permitted under the current zoning and will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity, which is used for highway commercial. For the same reasons, we find the variance will not cause a hazard or nuisance to the public and will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulations. Period.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion among the motion with this board? Any discussion among the motion with this board? If there is no further discussion, I will ask for a vote, please.
Somebody second it.
I did.
Yes. Heather?
Mac,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Landon,
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Mr. Lamb, Appeal 3512 has been granted in your favor. Thank you for your explanation. It helped us have a better understanding of the layout. May I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes of March 27th?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
Second.
Make a
Second.
motion to adjourn.
A vote?
Motion to adjourn.
No?
Wait a minute.
On the minute, on the minutes.
Let's, thank you very much.
I gotta let
Mac?
myself.
Yes. I guess.
Heather,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Landon,
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Is there any further business that anybody would like to bring before this board this evening?
I have a question for
Okay.
everybody but Landon. He's the only one that got back to me about the training that's in July. I don't have the
The what?
date.
Oh, I'll go. I'll be
Oh, the
there.
class.
July.
I've already got
July.
mine.
What-
It's gonna be in
what-
Henderson.
What
I
day?
figured you'd go through the plan.
We don't know yet.
Okay, would
We
you,
do. Do you know the date of the house?
July 25?
July 25th, because it's my daughter's birthday.
July.
July 25th, my
It's
birthday.
here in
But
Henderson.
it's here in town.
I'll be
so-
there.
Casa Depot.
So I'll
Yeah.
go on and get everybody registered.
July training.
It's a very, usually very interesting. I mean, what,
I'm thrilled
presentations.
that it's here.
Yes.
Don
That made
really
me so happy. When
worked
I
hard
seen
to
that,
get
I was
them
like,
here.
yes.
Let me look real quick, because Sarah, I don't remember seeing that.
Thursday, the 25th. Bye. I'm assuming
At the
I'm not
depot.
in any kind of surgery then.
Well, you already said you were gonna.
Okay, there it is, July 25th.
Rob missed it in the email.
Yep, I did not.
It's okay. We've got time.
give me-
I'm
give me
gonna
a-
go on and
Give me a second.
get this registered.
I think I've already put it in my calendar. I think I put it in my calendar when I seen it. But let me make sure.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think they're having one in Owensboro.
Yeah, I already had it in my,
Yeah. Opportunity.
If we can get a
Do you have
really
the time,
good
Patrice?
turnout
Um,
for it,
They'll keep coming.
we might be able,
Did you?
well, shouldn't we get, I mean, shouldn't all the planning commission be there too?
right, we're trying to get Union, Webster, McLean to come here, so we can get a good turnout so that they'll see this as
I mean,
Good
usually like
place.
the Owensboro one, whatever, I mean, you get them all around.
a.
I
Yeah.
am not going to be in town. Will
8:30
there
to 5
be,
p.m.
will the
There
meeting?
are others.
You can go to
There are
Pikeville
others,
and
yeah.
make.
Oh, that's where I want to go.
Yeah, no.
Is there,
You ever
will
been to
the, will the meeting have Zoom?
No.
Okay,
No, but you can do other
okay.
things.
Dawn, whenever we have some of our other meetings in Owensboro and Webster, I'll say something.
Somebody from Pike's
Okay.
office, say that again.
I said when I'm at my meetings in other counties, I'll say something just so that they keep it on their radar.
Hey,
Is there any other business to come before the board tonight? If there,
Adjourn.
if there is no, I'll ask for, and everybody, thank you. I like these quick, easy meetings.
Yeah.
They move
All the time.
They've been keeping.